good, YouTube? It's your boy 2K the God. Now I just finished watching this damn Terry Flanagan versus Peter Petrov fight for the WBO title at 135 pounds. Terry Flanagan successfully has his fifth title defense. Peter Petrov was ranked number 2 in the WBO rankings, and he was ranked number 10 by Ring Magazine as the 10th best 135-pound fighter in the division. Yo, real talk. Now, there's been a lot of shit going around about Terry Flanagan amongst boxing enthusiasts, including myself and my other panel on the Movement Boxing podcast, where we talked about how Flanagan pretty much needs to be looking at some of the better fighters in the division to get more respect that he feels that he deserves, right? Well, you've seen in this fight, if you watched it, why Frank Warren doesn't want to put him up against the best in the division. You know what I'm saying? Yo, Terry Flanagan is motherfucking barbecue chicken at 135 pounds, dog. I mean, the dude is food. You know what I'm saying? Mikey Garcia, Jorge Linares, Robert Easter Jr. Shit. Motherfuckers that lost recently, like Richard Comey, are probably watching this fight just licking their motherfucking fingers. Because Terry Flanagan is on borrowed time. Peter Petrov, I criticized this fight going in. I said Flanagan should win. I had the fight 116-112, just like one of the judges did for Flanagan. I said he should win this fight. Peter Petrov is not ready for the elite level talent in the division. He's a one-dimensional fighter, and he showed that in this fight. Now, the one thing that he did right was he was dipping. He was moving a lot, his upper body, because he was a shorter guy. I think he was like 3 inches shorter. He had the shorter reach. So the only thing that he really could do was to go in there and try to get on the inside of Terry Flanagan, who absolutely has zero inside game. You know what I'm saying? He did that successfully. Dude, if I was counting the straight right hands thrown and landed by Peter Petrov, I would probably be at 90% accuracy, dog. This motherfucker landed every single straight right hand he threw at Terry Flanagan, and the reason being is because Terry Flanagan is stiff as fuck on the upper body. Keeps his lower body moving. He doesn't have great movement. You know what I'm saying? He's not, one of the slick fighters in the ring in terms of movement. But he does have a good, strong stance. He does have the ability to turn. He will bounce back and forth. He will move laterally. But his upper body is stiff. He does not move his fucking head. He does not move his torso at any moments. He's not dipping and dodging. He's not doing none of that. He's really just upright like this. You know what I'm saying? And he may have a little hunch in his back to where he can gain leverage whenever he throws his straight shots. But that's about it. And that's why Peter Petrov's straight right hand was fucking money. If Petrov had any sort of knockout power on that particular punch, Flanagan would have been hurt time after time after time again in this fight. Might have even been a setup punch that would help him get a stoppage against Terry Flanagan if he had power on that punch. You know what I'm saying? Another thing, if you use feints against Terry Flanagan, that right there will be his kryptonite. A fighter who can actually utilize the jab very well. A fighter who has pinpoint accuracy with his straight right hand, just like Peter Petrov did, and has more power than Peter Petrov does, but uses feints to be able to do that. Terry Flanagan is wide open for that. He falls for it every time. Peter Petrov was throwing feints in this fight, and he wasn't even trying to. You know what I'm saying? Motherfucker was feinting by accident just because he was doing a whole lot of upper body movement. Moving his head around like that, moving his body, trying not to get set up by Flanagan's jabs, right? And trying not to get hit by that straight left hand. But in the meantime, he's doing that. He's kind of pawing with that jab, but not really committing on it like a feint. And when he would do that and just come in with the straight right hand, landed almost 100% of the fucking time on Terry Flanagan. Also, the entire fucking time, the entire fight up until maybe like the 9th or 10th round, Terry Flanagan is waiting on the more aggressive fighter. The guy that has no other game plan but to get inside. He's sitting there fucking waiting. He's not throwing his jab. You know what I'm saying? He's just standing there like this, and he's waiting on Petrov to do something. When Petrov comes in, that's when he may throw the jab, and he may try to counter him with a left hook. But against the more aggressive fighter who has no other game plan but to move in on you, you need to be pumping the jab in his face. Keep him off balance. Keep him off rhythm. Because if you're pumping a jab and then you're moving laterally and still pumping it, it keeps that aggressive fighter thinking. It keeps him, he's not comfortable at that point in time because there's no angle that he gets where he can actually stay in front of you and his offensive aggressiveness can work in his favor. You keep giving him angles, he has to keep resetting. That's one thing Terry Flanagan did not do until maybe the 10th fucking round. Now, of course, I had him winning rounds before that, but the 10th round is really where he picked it up and he was just beating the shit out of Peter Petrov from 10 to 12. You know what I'm saying? The judge that had it 120 to 108, I think his name was like Mikhail something. I don't remember his last name. He should be fired and removed from judging. You know what I'm saying? There's no motherfucking way you gave 0 rounds to Peter Petrov in this fight, especially when he was outworking the shit out of Terry Flanagan in the inside for numerous rounds. Flanagan, man, his inside game is just non-existent. As soon as Petrov got close, he wrapped him up. The fucking referee had to keep admonishing him about holding behind the head and holding his arms and shit because he had no inside game, know what to do. One thing that he did, which is another testament to him not having an inside game, I mean, it was a smart move, but at the same time, it just reminded me this motherfucker's not dynamic. He threw a straight left hand at Petrov, landed it, and then immediately held him as soon as he lunged in with that punch. Because there was no other offensive attack that he had to follow up behind that because he's now on the inside. He can't do anything at that point. I mean, bro, Jorge Linares, Mikey Garcia, okay, Robert Issa Jr., shit, Denis Shafikov, those guys beat the dust off of Terry Flanagan. Denis Shafikov will have probably the hardest time just because he has the same kind of style as Petrov. And I think Flanagan, after a while, he will adapt to it and start winning some rounds against him. But I think Shafikov is a little better than Petrov. You know what I'm saying? He's a little bit smarter in the ring. Granted, what he did against Francis Barthélemy and against Richard Commey is a little more smarter than Peter Petrov. So I expect him to actually get the win in that fight. Robert Issa would dust this motherfucker off. You know what I'm saying? I mean, basically, Terry Flanagan, any which way you want to serve him, sauteed, deep fried, double baked, broiled. Any way you want to serve this motherfucker to these hungry ass lions at 135, he will get served and thoroughly eaten. You know what I'm saying? Motherfucker look like a drill sergeant in the army and shit. He got that blonde buzz cut, blonde facial hair. You know what I'm saying? I can see this motherfucker telling motherfuckers, Lil, Rod, get the fuck out of here. Get this bum out of here, man. Talking about, oh, sir, you have one demerit. Get the fuck out of here, man. Easy work for the elite fighters at 135. Terry Flanagan is lucky that he's with Frank Warren because Frank Warren has a history of, keeping fighters away from the best in the division. If we're looking at Frank Warren and comparing him to Eddie Hearn, Eddie Hearn will throw motherfuckers in the fray. You know what I'm saying? Another top 135-pound fighter that I knew from the get-go was terrible since 5-6 years ago. But it was made public by a guy who came off a motherfucking layoff in Jorge Linares twice. You know what I'm saying? That Anthony Crolla is not one of the best in the division. But Eddie Hearn had no problem throwing him in there in the fray. You know what I'm saying? Against one of the best in the division. Frank Warren's not going to do that. You know what I'm saying? He did a good job of keeping Joe Calzaghe out of harm's way for as long as he did. So I expect him to do the same thing with Terry Flanagan. He's going to continue to keep him out of harm's way. He'll continue to match him up against the lower-ranked fighters in the division. Granted, I know Peter Petrov was number 2 in the WBO, but like I said, Ring had him at number 10. There was 9 other fighters, according to Ring, that are better than him at 135. Also, number 1 ranked in the WBO right now is fucking Felix Verdejo. While I'm not too big on Felix Verdejo, the things that he brings in the ring, this could be an excellent fight. Flanagan versus Verdejo. Verdejo has an excellent chance of winning this fight. He also has a chance of losing it. So, I don't know, man. All I know is if you putting Flanagan in the ring with one of them dogs at 135, yo, that's easy work. Easy work. About to get on this motherfucking Lomachenko, Jason Sosa.